people.
Those with a growth mindset, if they fail, they try harder. Those with a fixed mindset, if they fail, they just give up.
And this describes, like, every time somebody comes and asks me for advice, it's as simple as this. It's like, improve what you need to work on and keep doing what you're good at. It's literally that simple. But so many people, they hit that first roadblock of failure and then they quit forever. But growth is about learning what you're good at and getting rid of what you're not. This could be applied to a YouTube channel. Analyze your retention, analyze your CTR, see what's working, and continue to do that. And you should even look at the complete stats of the viewer retention in a YouTube video. Whenever the views dip because of a reason, just never do that again. Every time it goes up, continue to do something similar to that. If you do that 100 times, now you have created systems where you're you're just objectively going to be better than you were before. So, but you don't know how good you are until you have results to analyze. So always analyze your own results. But here's game theory. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Professor Jiang, predictive history.
Today we look at the question of success. Okay? The question is, who succeeds and why? Okay, so we've done a lot of research.
So yeah, this is follow the theme, problem and the solution. How do you succeed?
And we've discovered that people who succeed for certain reasons. So there is a Columbia psychologist named Longterm, and he devised a very famous experiment called the marshmallow test. In the marshmallow test, it's very, very easy, okay? So imagine a room, and I invite a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to come into this room and have a conversation with him or her. I ask them, how's your mother? What do you like to do? And it's a very good conversation. Then suddenly I get up and say, I'm really sorry, but I need to go across the hallway for another meeting, but I'll be back, okay? So just wait for me. And here, I'll make you a deal. Here's a marshmallow. I'm gonna put a marshmallow in front of you, and you can have it right now. But if I come back and the marshmallow is still there, I will give you 2 marshmallows. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then
all the kids eat the marshmallow. So I see where he's going. Where he's gonna go to is the idea of delayed gratification and building systems and trading your time for the idea where people don't understand how your time can work for you. It's all about delayed gratification.
And Walter Mitchell, he goes away, and he goes behind the room, and for a see-through mirror, he's able to see the students as they struggle to contain themselves. Because obviously
the kids that wait it out end up becoming successful, but the people that don't understand delayed gratification, they just are the bot slaves. What a majority of kick chat. The kick chatters are mostly people who are just gonna eat the marshmallow and then go click fruit and slam wanted buys because they're brain rotted goys who don't know how to do anything and and just jerk off. It's the same thing with like gooners and jerking off. You don't understand that if you practice semen retention, you're gonna have more testosterone, you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna be able to work better, and also women are gonna be more attracted to you. But fucking idiots on kick, goon! They'll just goon all day long, and then they go out into the real world, and women could smell how disgusting you are, could see the shame in your face, and they know intuitively that you're a gooner, and you also have less energy and you're afraid to speak to them, and so you beg a streamer to speak to a woman through a stream because you don't have any testosterone to speak to them, because you're a weak beta male who's gooned all day and you don't know how to talk anymore, and you've literally turned yourself into a goy slop retard who's just, their existence is just to be some guy slamming wanted buys and putting W in the chat for a streamer who's not providing anything. This is the majority of the website. Do not eat the motherfucking marshmallow.
2 marshmallows. And there are some students who can, in fact, resist the temptation to eat the first marshmallow and then a second marshmallow. But then there are others who cannot.
This was the video we needed to see the whole day. Finally, we got to the thesis of the stream.
We'll spend 50 years just tracking them, okay? And what he discovers is this. The students who resist the temptation, who get the second marshmallow, they are much more likely to do better in school. They have higher test scores. They have better careers. Their careers are more stable. They get promoted in their careers. They're much more able to find a stable relationship. They avoid jail. They avoid drugs. They avoid alcohol. They're more lean. They're more fit. They live longer. Better teeth. And those who cannot resist and eat the first marshmallow right away, they have the opposite effect, okay? And so the idea is that for Walter Mischel, success means delayed
Gratification, told you.
gratification.
Man, I'm fucking smart.
And all this means is that people who succeed are capable of long-term planning. To succeed today, I will make sacrifices necessary, okay? So if my friends are playing outside and I need to do my homework, well, I'm gonna stay home and do my homework. Okay, so long-term planning, what he calls delayed gratification.
Or also called long-term thinking. People who are capable of long-term thinking, and this is thinking in steps, right? Long-term planning is like, okay, so if I want to achieve success, I need to get to the 5th point. So, but there's other points, all this gets in the way. This point 5 is not achievable without 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's simple things like if I work out, I'm gonna have more energy and I'm gonna be more fit, I'm gonna be more mentally ready, and therefore I'm gonna be better in the meeting. And if I'm better in the meeting, I'm gonna get the promotion. If I'm better in the promotion, then I'm gonna have more finances. If I have more finance, I'm gonna have more free time. If I have more free time and I'm more happier and I'm fitter, then all this, then I can get to point 5, right? It's all linear.
Or a much more simple way of saying this is the idea of self-control, right? Or the idea of emotional regulation. You're able to keep your emotions in check. If you're angry, you're able to calm yourself down.
Lower your cortisol.
And so we know about this, and that's why in school we focus on the idea of emotional regulation, teaching you how to better control your emotions, how to do long-term planning. Okay? So that's one theory of success. Another theory of success comes to us from another psychologist named Carol Dweck. And she's at Stanford. And she wrote a book called Mindset. Okay? And what she tells us is that those who succeed in life have a growth mindset. And those who fail in life have a fixed mindset. Okay? And it's not hard, okay? The idea is resilience. Those who have a growth mindset, if they fall or they fail, they say to themselves, this is an opportunity for me to learn. So I'm going to think about what I did wrong. Next time, I'll do better. And a fixed mindset are people who cannot accept the idea of failure, who think that it's because they're not capable of improving, and therefore they give up. Okay?
So there's 90%
so
of people.
Those with a growth mindset, if they fail, they try harder. Those with a fixed mindset, if they fail, they just give up.
And this describes, like, every time somebody comes and asks me for advice, it's as simple as this. It's like, improve what you need to work on and keep doing what you're good at. It's literally that simple. But so many people, they hit that first roadblock of failure and then they quit forever. But growth is about learning what you're good at and getting rid of what you're not. This could be applied to a YouTube channel. Analyze your retention, analyze your CTR, see what's working, and continue to do that. And you should even look at the complete stats of the viewer retention in a YouTube video. Whenever the views dip because of a reason, just never do that again. Every time it goes up, continue to do something similar to that. If you do that 100 times, now you have created systems where you're you're just objectively going to be better than you were before. So, but you don't know how good you are until you have results to analyze. So always analyze your own results.
And so the idea of resilience, okay? Pretty simple, right? And the third idea of success comes to us from Kay Anders Ericsson, who is a Swedish psychologist. And she wants to know why certain people are able to succeed as musicians or athletes. And he creates the idea of deliberate practice.
TTS of 10.
Okay? So what he found is that people who want to become athletes or musicians, they work really hard. They practice every day. But the people who succeed practice strategically. Okay? So those who work hard just work a long time. But those who work strategically have a plan. The plan is this. What are my goals? How can I achieve these goals? And then how do I improve my plan? Okay? So they're examining their own practices. And they're trying to figure out where the weaknesses are, where they can improve, and set a plan on how to improve, and then they follow this plan. And if this plan helps them improve, they stick to the plan, but if the plan doesn't really work, they change the plan as well, okay? So this is the idea of self-reflection or self-assessment. Constantly thinking about how you are as a student and figure out how to improve your own learning strategies. And what Anders Ericsson discovered is that if you do this, you'll succeed at anything. And this is true, okay? And the reason why we know it's true is there are two American psychologists named Dunning and Kruger. There's something, the Dunning-Kruger effect. And so what they did was this. They ran an experiment. They had 500 students in their psychology class, first year university. They made every student take an IQ test. And then after they took the IQ test,
You
they asked
still
each
have
student,
a tiny
how
cock.
do you did on the IQ test? Do you place in the top 5% or the bottom 5%? And it turns out that no one got the ranking correct, okay? So those who were in the top 5% in terms of IQ thought they were maybe in the top 20%. Because for them it was easy, so they assumed for everyone else it was easy as well. But what was dramatic is that those who scored the lowest thought they were average, okay? So the worst 5% in the class thought they were in the top 50% or just average. And the reason why is those people who are stupid lack the capacity to know they're stupid. Okay? So what Dunning-Kruger discovered is that the hardest part of being a student is to assess yourself properly, to know exactly where you stand and how to improve. Those who are stupid are often the most confident in the world. That's what's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this helps us explain why the world is why it is. Because often the people in power are stupid. They don't know they're stupid, they're overconfident, and they do stupid things, like Donald Trump, okay? All right? All right, so now we have these three theories, right? We have self-control, we have resilience, and we have self-assessment. And so as educators, as schools, what we can do is devise strategies and curriculum to help students all succeed, correct, right? The problem is that when we actually try this, it doesn't work, okay? If you take a bad student and you teach him self-control, resilience, and self-assessment, the student doesn't actually get better. The reason why is, okay, and this is a very important idea for you guys to remember, is that correlation does not equal causation. Okay? You guys need to remember this. Just because things are correlated does not mean they cause each other. So I'll give you an example. We know that successful people, they get up early in the morning. Okay? They get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But just because you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning does not mean you succeed. Okay? Just because you work hard, just because you're resilient, just because you have growth mindset does not mean you'll succeed. But if you're successful, you'll get up early in the morning because you are more motivated. If you're successful in life, you will have more self-control. You will have more resilience. You'll be more humble. Okay, does that make sense? So if you're rich, guess what happens? You become successful. And therefore, you will have growth mindset, self-control, deliberate practice. Okay, does that make sense? But just because you have growth mindset, deliberate practice, and resilience does not mean you succeed. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the question for us is, why does this happen? And ultimately, who succeeds? Okay, so we know for a fact that rich people are much more likely to succeed
This will be my last
than
donation.
poor people.
I
And in
need
fact,
to
we
invest
know
it instead. Keep doing what you do, brother.
You're going to invest $10? I'm sure that's going to make you rich.
from macroeconomic studies is that school doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter how well you do in school. If your parents are rich, you'll be successful in life. If your parents are poor, you will not be successful in life, okay? So what's the difference? Okay, so now let's look at parenting strategies between rich and poor. Okay? So there are lots of differences, but let's focus on 3 major differences. The first major difference is that rich parents speak to their kids more than poor parents. Okay? High vocabulary, low vocabulary.
One of the problems is that the rich ones will potentially baby their children more. And if they get babied too much, they're not going to learn resilience the same way poor kids do.
Vocabulary. When rich parents speak to the kids, rich parents will use high vocabulary, longer sentences. Poor parents will just be no, yes, go away. Okay? Another major difference is in attitude.
What I mean? What about it?
Okay? So rich parents use a friendly attitude, and poor parents use an authoritarian or command attitude.
You know I told you to not
So
be
for example,
greedy little dick.
if you
Good
are
boy.
a
Keep
rich
giving
kid,
more money to talk about penis. Like this is the fucking the community on Kick. It's literal brain rotted, bro. I would advise you, dude, like, because you've been super chatting, you probably gave me close to $150 this stream. Like, the reason that you are this way is you're chronically online gooner or watching gambling all the time. It's like you're not, I don't know like where you got this money from, maybe, but it's just you're wasting your life away doing nothing, you know, too much on people that don't care or know you. And this is not going to be the path to any sort of success in your life. Like, really, I could see it from so many kick chatters. Like, you could literally see the real-time effects of the goon and gambling culture that this website has had on people. And I've streamed it on so many different websites. There's a different culture everywhere. The culture here is like, you can see how like porn and gambling has turned these like little like gremlin, these people who like angry chatting, and it's not gonna pan out well for so many of you. You know, like, yeah, it's fun to troll and stuff, but at a certain point, it's like, what are you really doing with the time that God has given you and the one life you have?
And so, for example, if you are a rich kid and you go and touch a stove, okay, and you burn your hand, the rich parent will say, listen, you made a mistake, don't worry about it. Let me explain to you why touching a fire is bad for you. Because you'll burn yourself.
Nigga, that wasn't
and
me. Literally
you might have to go to
working
the doctor.
RN doing a report for my inspection. K. Lastano.
I don't know who you are. Like, again, why do you think that I know who you are? This is insane to me that people are like, oh yeah, you did, that wasn't me. I don't know who the fuck you are or the last one was. You're just a random person giving me money to have a voice in the TTS. I don't know you. Are you stupid? Are you actually stupid?
Most of the kick community is brain rot maxing, stewful, and watch the educational content.
I'll do what I want, but I mean, it's important. I think that's why it's doing well here.
Doctor and
Saying Tate ego. Why do you think that I would know who this person is because he's giving money in TTS? He's literally a stupid idiot, and we need to say this. Like, I don't. Okay.
don't worry about it. Let me explain to you why touching a fire is bad for you. Because you'll burn yourself, and you might have to go to a doctor, and we will feel pain if you hurt yourself, okay? So the rich parent will spend a lot of time explaining to the child why this is wrong and how not to do it again. The poor parent is like, don't you ever do that again or I'll beat the crap out of you, okay? Don't do that. Pretty simple, okay? But as you can understand, the rich kid will understand that the world is safe and that he is respected in this world, okay? Whereas the poor child will think that the world is scary and he or she must be afraid of adults. And this carries on into school, right? Because as a rich kid, you go into school and you think that, oh, my teacher is my friend. So you smile at the teacher and you hug the teacher and the teacher smiles back. Now you're a friend.
The poor kid thinks the teacher's a knob.
Right? But if you're a poor kid and you see the teacher, you're afraid to look at the teacher. You don't smile. You are stressed, okay? And the teacher thinks that you might be a problem child. So the problem with this is that, yes, being an authoritarian parent, it is effective, and it creates stress in the family.
Again, mods, I've seen this guy spend SNEAKO, the portal opens up tonight. He's been saying this for like 6 hours, and you guys didn't time him out. And like, what do you want me to do about a portal opening? Like, okay, take an hour. Take an hour to think about that one.
Okay? It makes the child feel unsafe. And this leads to the third major difference between rich parents and poor parents. Rich parents offer stability. Okay? Poor parents can only offer volatility. This is a very simple idea. Rich parents have money so they can afford to keep promises. So I'm a rich parent, I say to my child, okay, next week we'll go to Thailand for vacation. Guess what? Next week you guys go to Thailand for vacation. But if you're a poor parent, money is always an issue. So it's hard for you to keep promises, right? So it's like, next week we'll go to McDonald's for lunch. But
someone said that the professor is basically describing poor people as black. That's racist, bro.
your paycheck is not enough, so you're like, sorry, we can't go anymore. Okay? And now, because of these different parenting styles, we understand why rich kids behave different from poor kids, right? So let's look at the idea of self-control, right? Self-control.
Poor kids have no self-control.
What is the marshmallow test? Marshmallow test is not a test of self-control. It's a test of your trust in others, right? If you believe that the teacher who goes outside, if you believe that he or she comes back and will keep his or her promise, then you will not eat that marshmallow. But if you think that this teacher is lying to me, then you're not going to eat that marshmallow. Then you will eat that marshmallow, right? So it's not really about self-control. It's about your belief and trust in authority figures, right? So if you're rich, stability, you have stability. But if you're poor, you don't have stability. So you're actually better off eating that marshmallow.
Man, give me that marshmallow. You ain't gonna scam me with no extra marshmallow. Give me that shit. You give me free marshmallow, I'm fucking taking that shit. Give me that. That's my marshmallow.
Rather than waiting for that second marshmallow, because guess what? Most of the time, you will not get that second marshmallow. Okay, do you understand? So it's not that poor kids are stupid. Poor kids are rational, and they're responding to the circumstances that they live in. Okay? And resilience, right? Well, the idea of resilience is that you believe that the world will help you. Right? So if you're rich and you believe that everyone helps you, you can be resilient. Because if you fail, someone will help you get up. If you're poor, if you fail, that probably tells you shouldn't be doing this. Okay? You probably won't succeed doing this. So you don't have much confidence in others. Okay? And
Thanks,
the idea
Father
of
Star.
self-assessment, right? Looking inward. Well, if you're a poor child who lives under a lot of stress, it's hard for you to be self-reflective. Because if you look back at yourself, all you can think about is your pain and your stress. Okay? So from these different parenting strategies, we can now explain why different students behave the way they do.
This is very generalized, though. I wonder if he's going to get into the spoiled nature of rich kids.
This, of course, may lead you to think, okay, well then, rather than construct our schools around self-control, resilience, and self-reflection, we should construct our schools around better parenting skills, okay? Which means that, hey, let's construct schools where kids are exposed to a lot of vocabulary, where teachers are friendly, and where there's a lot of stability, okay? And we've tried this, and it's more effective, but it doesn't really work either. Why? Because the kids come in too late. A lot of their worldview is already established. Then you're like, okay, well then let's change how parents behave. And when you do that, what you recognize is that, nope, you can't change how they behave either. Okay? So no matter what you do, you end up with massive differences between the poor and the rich. The rich stay rich, and the poor stay poor. Okay, so now the question for us is, why is this the case?
Why?
Okay? And it's the case because society is a hierarchy. Okay, and the hierarchy is usually divided between the rich and the poor.
Debatable. Could go deeper than that, but understand.
Okay? And these two worlds are night and day. They're very, very different. As a poor person, if you want to survive, you have to obey authority. Okay? But if you're a rich person, the way that you get along with others, the way that you maximize your outcome is by negotiating with others. Okay? Negotiating. Okay? So negotiating can also mean debate, right? So who should be the boss? Well, let's have a debate and present different evidence as to figure out who should be the boss. Okay? So negotiation means debate and argument. So this helps us understand why different parents parent their child differently. If you're a poor parent, your responsibility is to make sure that your child knows how to obey authority. Okay? That's why you command your child. But if you are a rich parent, you want your child to be able to negotiate with authority, and that's why you respect your child and you teach your child how to debate, how to argue, how to negotiate with others.
Did you grow up rich? No. I grew up poor around rich people. I grew up I was born in New York City, and I mostly grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, which is a poor city, high violence. And I went to a private school on scholarship. I didn't pay a cent. Most of these people, their parents worked at Yale University, the same university that he went to. And so I grew up a lot of rich kids, but I didn't have to pay because they could say minority privilege or something, but I was always growing up as the, I want to say underprivileged, but like middle class around upper middle class. And there was always a class divide. Like some of my friends in school, they had like movie theaters in their house, and they had big game sets and Xbox 360. I didn't have any of that, My family growing up with like cutting coupons and stuff from the newspaper and the magazines we get at Stop and Shop, and penny pinching and stuff. Yeah, because like we grew up 2008, housing crisis, immigrant family for the most part. My mom was born in America. My dad was an immigrant, but my mom's parents were both immigrants from the Philippines. So got to understand that. And I also did understand poverty heavily because I traveled a lot when I was young. I would go to Haiti every year to see my family, and that's extreme poverty. So I always understood that from a very young age.
Okay? Because they live in different worlds. Another way of saying this is that from day one, rich kids know that they're playing a different game from poor kids. Okay? So let's go back and look at parents.
No, I didn't grow up poor. Like not poor necessarily.
Poor parents command their child, don't really speak, don't communicate.
Just link Jake Shields X if you have it. Instead of just saying.
And don't keep promises, okay? All right, so poor parents do these three things. And we know that if they do these three things, the outcome won't be so good, okay? And the reason why they do this is that they're not playing a game to improve their kid's outcome. They're playing a game to get along with other parents, okay? Okay, colleagues.
What does this say? Don't keep promises? Okay.
Family. Okay, authority. Okay, so another saying this is this. Police, boss, okay, family, okay? All right, so as a parent, you're trying to figure out how to negotiate with the police, with your boss, and with your family. So if you're a poor person, and the police knows you're a poor person, the police is gonna bully you. And if you fight back, the police will probably put you in jail. Okay? So it's very important that you accept authority, you don't challenge authority, because if you do, you'll probably get into trouble. Your boss, right? If you're a poor person, your boss will just command you about. And so it's very important that your child knows how to take orders. Rather than ask questions, rather than debate, your child must learn how to just follow orders, or at least keep his mouth shut, okay? And then family is about maintaining good relations with those who can most support you. And that often means the same values. Okay, so if your family members or your friends, if they are parenting their child in this manner, you're also going to copy them, okay? Imitation. All right? And for a poor person, this is the optimal strategy of how to parent. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Because if you do it another way, okay? If you choose to be a friend to your child, if you choose to communicate, if you choose to keep your promises, then your friends and your family will think that you're doing something wrong. You understand? They won't think, oh my God, you are an enlightened parent who's read a lot of parenting books and great for you. They're going to think there's something wrong with you. Okay? So let me give you an example of this. So, my wife and I have 3 kids, okay?
What do you think is lesson so far?
My parenting style.
Let's see, Jiang's parenting
So
style.
my wife and I have 3 kids. And this is how we parent our kid, okay? First of all, we give our child a lot of freedom. So we don't have our kids do activities, okay? We don't have our kids do lots of activities. We don't send our kids to math class. We don't send our kids to swimming class. We don't send our kids to piano class, okay? We just let our kids run around and play. The other thing that we do is we communicate a lot with our child. Communication. We believe in democracy in our family. If we're going to make a decision together, we want everyone to communicate together.
Makes sense.
Okay? So,
Chad, what do you think about the Andrew Tate style where when you have a child with a woman, the woman wants to go out on a dinner date and you call her and say, I don't date women with kids, and then you hang up and then go on a date with another woman and then you go laugh about it with your friends. You guys agree with that parenting style? And then she's sobbing with the kids.
normal Chinese family will just have a very tight schedule, right? And the other thing that we do that's different is we tell stories. The other Chinese families will do math, okay? So
Of course, right?
we raise our children in a way that's very different from normal Chinese families, from the way that you've been raised, okay? And we do this because both my wife and I, we spend a lot of time talking about parenting. I've read a lot of books about parenting. I've spent many decades researching the best education possible. And so that's why we raise our children in this way. And guess what? Because we do this, we have no friends in China. We have family, but they all think we're crazy. Okay? But we do this because for us, what's most important is to make sure that our children are happy and healthy, and that they have a chance to be creative and be successful in life. Because I think that if you do it this way, the child will not be creative, will not be successful. But if you do it this way, your child will fit into China better.
You're saying, when are you going to have kids? I've repeated this before, like, if I am married or when I do get married, like, that's something that you guys are never going to know. Like, you see already the nature of this parasocial streaming stuff and how, like, these weirdos feel like they just, like, get off on knowing about people's lives. I would never tell these fucking dorks what the hell I'm doing in my personal life. You're never going to see my kids. You're never going to know when I'm married. You're not going to know about them. Fuck them. Fuck you. Stay out of my fucking life. I had enough. Hell no, bro. But, yeah.
Okay? So, parenting, the goal, the incentive is not for your child to succeed. The incentive is for your child to fit into China or the larger social environment that you are in. Okay? And that's why it's very hard to change the way people behave. And that's why social structures are extremely rigid. Because
family vlog channel. I personally think that a family vlog channel is fucking retarded. I think that's such a stupid way to raise kids, keeping them glued online, turning your kids into a business commodity that you can monetize, training them to get addicted to clout before they're even mentally mature yet. I think that's so much more harmful than so many other things. You get the evil eye on them, and then they start thinking and monetize. They don't get to grow up naturally. They grow up with the public eye. I think it's such a selfish way to raise your kids, and I don't respect people that do that. I think it's gross. Like, did you not make enough money? You need to go monetize your kids with AdSense? Really? There's enough, man. Enough. I mean, look, some people might do it in the healthy way, but why? Everybody knows how the internet is. Why would you want your kids to be open up and see that?
The game they're playing is often just to fit into their environment. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay, any questions before I move on? Yep.
Thanks. So for poor families, is there any way for the poor kids to succeed to be the rich parents?
Do you think growing up online harmed you? No, I think that it had the ability to, but I'm pretty mentally resilient, and I think I got the best out of it. But there's a lot of opportunities where it could have made me fold, it could have made me weaker, and it could have affected my life in a negative way if I wasn't mentally resilient enough. And I think if a lot of people were in my position, it would be extremely difficult. Yeah, and I could see something like that harming them, but you know.
Describe in the future. Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, so we know that there are certain poor kids who do succeed. For example, I'm a poor kid who succeeded. We immigrated to Toronto, Canada, when I was like 6 years old, and my father was a dishwasher, so we were a very poor family. Okay, but I succeeded because I left Canada for the United States. So Canada is a very rigid place where poor people basically move up a bit, but not too far.
That's just like the last video we saw. It details his growing up and his life in Canada.
But I was able to succeed because I was able to get a scholarship to go study in the United States. Okay, so there are opportunities.
Toronto.
The problem, though, is that it means leaving your community. Okay, does that make sense? So one way to succeed is to abandon your community. Okay, but that's high risk. Right? So you have to be extremely individualistic to take such a risk. So that's why most people don't do it. Because if you think about it, the safest option for you is to stay within your community. That's what's going to guarantee you the best outcome. But if you choose to abandon your community and to say, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else and try my luck, that's taking a really high risk. Okay? So to succeed, you have to take high risk. So another possibility is war. That traditionally, historically, has been the best mechanism of social mobility. When you go fight a war and you do really well, you get promoted in life. Okay? But again, war is high risk because chances are you'll get killed. Okay? So not just war, but also revolution. Right? Okay? And of course, the best way, of course, is to marrying up. Okay? And that's why, remember in our very first class, we talked about the dating game, right? Where women only want 5 and 4. Okay? The reason why is that 5 and 4 are high status, and 3, 2, 1 are low status. So if you're a woman, you don't want to marry into a low status family because your children will be screwed over. Okay? Your best option is to take a risk, gamble into a high status.
Is he red pilled?
You want to try to marry into
Is he gonna get into hypergamy?
high status family. Okay, so traditionally, war and marrying up are the two major mechanisms of social mobility. In today's world, abandoning community can also lead to success. Okay, basically immigrating to a place that offers
He did a lecture on the dating game. It's gonna be good. I mean, obviously he's a smart guy. He's gonna talk about hypergamy.
more social mobility, which often means United States. Okay, but another way of saying this is you have to get really lucky, guys. Okay, so there's lots of poor people who think that, I succeeded because I worked hard and I'm really talented. Look, I was born poor. I lucked into Yale. Okay, it's luck.
No. I think that's cap. He's being humble, but he had good grades and he got into Yale. Obviously, it's not as easy now because there's so many Chinese students with higher IQ that are getting in, so they have to limit how many foreign students get to be accepted into these Ivy League schools. I think the whole luck thing is extreme cope.
We gotta work hard so we can marry a broke pre-fuck Gen Z SSRI chick. Lucky us.
No, there's some good girls out there. There's some good ones.
You can work as hard as you want, but the chances are against you. Okay? And it takes a certain personality, which is you're really individualistic, you're very ambitious, and you have high risk tolerance. Most people don't have that, okay? So yes, there are certain people who, despite their background, they're able to succeed. But that's often the exception to the rule, as opposed to the rule itself. Okay, so thank you.
Whoa.
Is this
Germ says, my wife makes double my salary? What is she doing? What do you do? Holy shit, really? My wife makes double my salary. Are you lying? Are you trolling? SNEAKO taking notes. Stole that shit. Oh, he seems like a regular chatter. What does she do? What do you do? You almost never see that anymore, huh? Pocket watching. He's the one who put it out there. What does she do? OF? Are you married to an OF girl?
clear? Yeah. Okay, any more questions, guys, before I move?
Okay, you said LMAO, no. She is high up in the sales ladder in real estate. Okay, what do? Are you a construction worker? So she's good at sales. What do you do? What do you do? I'm gonna take notes on this too. Watch, trust me. This is making it in a document. What do you do, nigga? I do marketing. Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, she's just doing well. So she's just doing well right now. Well, it doesn't seem. She probably. Does she nag you? Does she nag you and tell you to do better? Is there like an ego problem, or do you guys get along properly? What's that dynamic looking like right now? What's the? Is she like, oh, you need to do this, you need to work harder? Has the power shifted in the relationship? I'm saying that's a cringe red pill take. I'm asking. He stopped chatting. He probably doesn't want to give more info on his relationship. I don't blame him. It's just a question. I'm just asking it to the dynamic change. She just wants support with my kids. Oh, so she's supporting your kids? So it's not her kids. So she makes double your money and she's paying for your little rugrats? Hey, you found one, my nigga, bro. So you had kids with another woman and you found a new one and she's financially supporting you and your kids? No, it's her kids, bro. Oh, okay, but so her kids or your kids? Oh, okay, she wants sports with kids. With kids. Oh, okay. So it's her kids. All right. You stepped up. You're the dad that stepped up. Good for you, man. That's good. It takes good for you, bro. I thought you said my kids. L Reader, yeah. So, no, I mean that's a real responsibility, bro. And I respect you for doing that. You know, it's a difficult situation. Both of our kids. Okay, you should have just led that. Why with kid? Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to cope right now and being like, hey, you're not a cuckold. You're you're being the dad that stepped up. Woo! Sigh of relief. Okay, both of your kids. Let's fucking go. Let's go. That's
Sensational.
That's way better, bro. I thought. Okay. All right. Cool. So you just want support to the kids. That's happy to hear that. You're getting along. Yeah, I was trying to like give you a pat on the back. All right. Yeah. Cool. That's a good. You got a good thing going on, man. As long as but did the power dynamic shift? Like be real, bro. You're saying it didn't shift at all. Like let's be honest. Analyze it for a second. Did it actually shift? Or is it all the same? Let's watch the how to read video. Nigga, I've been live 7 hours, dude. I was live 9.5 yesterday. He stopped chatting. It's all right. You know what? Let me stop investigating. I'll leave you alone.
Move on.
Oh, no, he said, okay, here he goes. He says, no, it's the same. It's in the leader of the house. Someone said she's getting clapped. How do you think she got a raise? This is some kick brain rot shit. You think she's automatically getting fucked by someone to get a raise at a real estate job? It's the same. I'm the leader of the house. Okay. All right, let's leave him alone now. Okay? I'm happy for you and God bless you and your children, and I wish the best of luck. Hope you raise the kids here. Hopefully you learned something about raising the kids from this video.
Okay.
I hope. You know, I love that. Appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you too, Germ. I appreciate you. Can I gift you a sub or something? Yeah, you know, I really like that I have regular people like this in the chat too, and not just Kick brain rotting gooners who watch gambling all day. Because Kick will make it seem like you have to go cater to fucking 14-year-old retards who are addicted to jerking off, parasocial, and gambling. But really, it's like I think the majority of my viewers are normal people, just they don't chat as much. They're not like the normal kick chatter people. I think that is the majority of the community. And so, but it seems like it's that's not what is my demographic, bro. It's like regular people. And so kick doesn't have to be that. Like you don't need to go cater to that, bro. You don't need to go cater to those people.
Can be luck counted as a kind of ability, or is just coincidence?
Okay, that's a really good question. Yeah, okay. Yep. So,
yeah, and people in the YouTube comments of this video, 'cause I'm going to upload this on YouTube. How old are you guys? Do you guys relate to the kick chat? I know it's so funny because the YouTube commenters think that this chat is literally retarded. But if you are normal people out there, how you guys doing YouTube? All right, put the number, put a 6. I don't. Just say hello in the comments. I'm not going to make you type anything, but just I want to see where you guys are from.
you're absolutely right, okay? So, luck is a form of strategy, okay? Strategy. And all this is saying is that you are trying to position yourself
These
in a
segments
place.
are great. I work in the ICU and love watching your content to chill.
Hey, God bless you, and thanks for working in the ICU. It's a difficult job. You got to work a lot of hours, man. And I wish the best, and hope you take care of those patients well, man. Stay up. Glad you like the streams, bro.
That allows you to get lucky, okay?
Thank you.
So I left Canada and I went to the United States because I knew that in Canada, it doesn't matter how hard you work, no one cares. But in the United States, if you work really hard, then you might get lucky and you might meet someone who's like, wow, you're a really hard worker, I want to promote you. Okay? So you're right in that, yes, you can strategize and increase your luck, but it's still luck. All right? And those who succeed are
You
able
want
to think
stable Ronald
strategically
Doe's approval.
and far
He's a view botter himself with 2 authenticated bots.
The vibe shift was going so well. We had like real people working jobs in the ICU, and then it goes right back to Gooner gambling kick brain. You're the fucking deep. Here we go, right back to the shit. You think I give a fuck about this guy's approval? Are you stupid? Look, I'm just okay. I'm not even
head
okay.
and position themselves
I'm not even
in
maintaining
a
the
way
vibe.
that
Maintaining the
allows them
vibe.
to get lucky. Okay? And they often have the characteristics that we talked about, like self-control, resilience, and the ability to look inward and better understand what you're good at. Okay? So it takes a combination of factors. But the point I'm trying to make is that these people are only a minority, okay? 1% of the population, really. Okay? And they still depend on luck.
Okay, 1% of the population are able to transcend from poor to rich,
Any more questions before I
and it's
move
based
on?
off of luck. I don't agree.
Okay, so this leads us to a question, which is, okay, well, the way that I frame everything, you have poor and you have rich. And as discussed, they live in their own worlds, and they don't really connect with each other. They have different parenting strategies, they have different outlooks. The rich stay with themselves, the poor stay amongst themselves. So this looks like a very stable system, right? Stability. Oh, the word we can use is equilibrium. Now the question then is, why do societies collapse? Why are there revolutions? Why are there social changes? This looks like a system of equilibrium where, because of parenting, people know their place and people know how to best strategize
Let
about
the kick
maintaining their
gremlins
place.
get to you, bro. A lot of these niggas need to get lobotomized.
No, a lot of them are just trolling.
So why is there social change?
But thank you.
And the reason why is that this system has problems and it's stable, but the main problem is this system, okay? It's the rich that's problematic. And the reason why is that the rich are taught from day one to negotiate a better outcome. Okay, so another way of saying this is that the poor is like minimum outcome, okay? The rich want the maximum outcome. The poor are like, you know what, if I'm alive, if I have a decent job, I'm okay. But the rich are like, no, I need to be the top dog. I need to improve my lot in society, otherwise what's the point of my life? Okay? So they have high expectations, okay? High expectations,
There's acid rain outside. What?
low expectations. Okay? And this is a problem because power, it's a zero-sum game. Okay? Hierarchy is a zero-sum game. So only a few people can be at the top. So eventually, you get into a situation where there are too rich people, too many rich people, and not enough powerful positions. And this is what's called elite overproduction. Okay? And then what happens here is that in order to get power, certain factions of the rich will align with certain factions of the poor against the powers that be. Okay? So all revolutions are always between the have a lot versus have some.
The have-nots and the have-yachts. Have-yachts.
Never between rich and poor. It's always
Revolutions are between the have-lots and the have-somes, not between the have-nones and the have. It's gonna be a revolution between the have-yachts and the Bugattis.
between have a lot and have some. So the people who led the Chinese Revolution, right? People like Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Deng Xiaoping, they were not poor people. They didn't come from poor families. But they weren't rich enough, okay? So the Chinese Revolution was really between the urban elite versus the rural elite. Okay, the have a lot versus have some. If you look at every revolution in human history, that's always been the case. Okay? If you go back to Chinese history and you look at all these revolutions that started in China, it was always led by the middle class.
Your streams
or
help me
the
feel less
aspirational
isolated while I
class,
finish
usually
my
merchants.
PhD. I appreciate the company.
Hey, good luck with your PhD. Big Floyd, good luck to you and your dissertation or whatever you're doing. What's the PhD for? And you know I got a PhD. Yeah, okay, that's good, man. Glad you're not isolated. You're not alone, man. Everybody in here, you're not alone. Here every day, we're grinding it out.
Right? Merchants. Because they were discriminated heavily in society, but they had money. And they wanted to transform their money into power. And so when times were bad, when people were looking for change, they took the initiative and led people into revolution. Okay?
Revolution. What crypto wallet you use a lot?
Does that make sense, guys? All right. Any questions?
He's so smart.
Yeah.
All right.
My goat's so smart. What are the questions?
Exactly,
Amber, say
revolution
something.
It should be like within those rich people. So how could they lead the poor people to follow
trick 'em.
to start the revolution? Because revolution need a huge amount of people.
Damn, they make a body in that water.
Okay.
To initiate.
Okay. Okay, great question. Okay, so revolutions are almost the same. So over time, because of the structure, because of the inequality between rich and poor, certain problems arise, okay? So, and these problems are extremely common. The first problem.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we need to watch the rest of this. This is good. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Appreciate it, Professor Jiang. Whew, man, was that 3, 4? How many lectures did we go through today? How many lectures did we go through today? Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't want to keep spamming this and doing it every day, but I think this is very important. Crypto's crashing right now. Fuck, bro. I did buy more. I did invest more. Let's see. What's Bitcoin at now? Crash more. Oh, it's about the same as it was earlier. Fuck, bro. It went below 6.7. It went below 6.7. I thought 6.7 was the meme magic, and that was the bottom. I ain't gonna lie. Literally thought that was the meme magic. All right, who's up in the chat real quick? Who's up in the chat? I don't think you need to see these notes from today, unless you really want it. I'll post this in the Discord, so this is a good incentive if you guys aren't on my Discord to go join it. The notes from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I will be posting in Discord. I'll also post the other notes about the West falling in Discord as well. So just go check Discord announcements, and it's there. Here we go. Rich dad.
Streamer
poor-
get gambling deal just to keep everyone poor, including the streamer.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what it's all about. Okay, there's Rich Dad Poor Dad. And go copy paste that if you want. And BB updates here. We're going to see the news again because he is in DC right now. BB's back in America. Apparently he's in Washington DC right now. And then here is the West Falling notes. There you go. I didn't review them. Usually I do, and I fix the typos.